Now, we had some questions about what about support for the tomatoes. It doesn't seem like you leave enough support and they can be heavy and pull the stems, but we've not had that problem. They are sturdy enough that they hang on just fine. Heirlooms especially will often send a sucker off the cluster of tomatoes. So that can be taken off. And then I've had questions about the weight of the tomato and how that might be a problem if you sucker heavily and leave the tomatoes on. But we have had no trouble with the stems breaking off and losing tomatoes. The stems are quite strong, and also you can see even this one is bent a little bit, but that does not hurt the tomatoes at all. They're very resilient. But there's new suckers. Tomatoes just continue to grow and grow. So you're really not going to hurt them badly if you do take off your suckers. Don't feel like you're going to damage your plant. There's tomatoes down in here. So we have a lot of fruit on these tomatoes. Another thing I can tell you about is leaf curl, and this can happen with a lot of heavy pruning and also possibly sun, and it doesn't hurt the plant at all. It doesn't hurt the production of the tomatoes. It just does not look very nice. The heirlooms tend to do this a little more than your beefsteaks. Beefsteaks, they've had the same pruning as the heirlooms, and these have stayed nice and fresh. Also, the tomatoes will tend to be bigger on the bottom of the plant, and they will tend to get a little bit smaller as they go up. And we're getting nice tomatoes off of these, and we're getting pretty tall. The tops here we may just, like I say, cut off and see if that'll produce more energy into finishing off the tomatoes before it gets too cold. We leave the doors open and the sides up during the summertime when we don't have to worry about nighttime cold temperatures, and they really thrive with this nice fresh air coming through here. Once we start getting the cold nights, we'll have to start closing it up at nights and just opening it again in the mornings. If your tomatoes are in a greenhouse, you want to make sure you have them well ventilated. In addition to opening the doors and the sides, we also have fans to keep the air moving, especially when we have the greenhouse closed. Remember that tomatoes are wind pollinated, making it important to keep the air flowing. In the early spring, we need to have the fans going to keep the air circulating so that the new plants are protected from the frost. Thanks for visiting us at Front Porch Farm. We enjoyed showing you how to take care of your tomatoes, and thank you for all your comments, and we hope we've been helpful.